I'm about to read y'all for filth. A paid content creator is fear and a lack of consistency. Everything that happened on your journey prepares you for where you are now and where you're trying to get to. Why are you letting fear stop you? Hey, therapy is expensive, but YouTube is free. I'm here to help. Do I really want that person as a follower anyway? Give yourself grace while also holding yourself accountable. Lack of consistency. Have you been really doing it over time? You have never really poured into your brand consistently over time long enough to see real results. To solve someone's problem, you need to figure out what content am I going to create that will attract my ideal customer. Hi beautiful, welcome back to my channel. If you're here for the first time, my name is Shay Nicole and I love creating videos to help elevate your confidence in style and self-care. And of course, I'm always dropping gems for my current and aspiring content creators. I'm so glad you're here. Now let's get into today's video because baby, I'm about to read y'all for filth. That's right, I'm here to gather you up, get you together. I always get so many questions about what does it take to be a successful content creator, a paid content creator, a well-known content creator, how to grow my following. I get all kinds of questions. And I feel like it's boiling down to really two main issues, and that is fear and a lack of consistency. So we are going to address those two things, as well as getting into some more Q&A from the question box I put in my broadcast channel. If you're not following me on Instagram or subscribe to my broadcast channel, make sure you do that right now. Take a second. It is completely free. All you have to do is go to my Instagram, press follow, and then on the front page, you'll see right here, it says broadcast channel. And there are over 9,000 of my good girl tribe, okay? 9,000 of you all who are getting the gems from me, who are getting a little bit more behind the scenes of my life, and of course who are able to shop my outfits because I always post links there first, okay? So make sure you join my good girl tribe. I often drop question boxes there for you all to let me know what are you struggling with, and today I'm gonna get into all things content, all things building revenue for your brand, and definitely diversifying income because I see the struggle. Everybody wants brand deals, brand deals, brand deals, but what happens when the brand deals are not paying as they should? What happens when the brand deals don't come on time? How are you making money outside of that? So we're gonna get into all those things today. But first, I have to address the two main issues like I said. Let's talk about fear. It is time for us to have an honest conversation with ourselves. What exactly are you scared of? Because let me tell you something, when it comes to creating content or whatever entrepreneurial endeavors that you have, maybe it's not that you want to be a content creator influencer, maybe it's something else that you have going on. It doesn't matter. Fear can cripple us. So I want you to look in the mirror and ask yourself, what am I scared of? Because a lot of us spent years in school pursuing these degrees that we ain't using, trying to get this job that we are unhappy with, or trying to get this promotion or get a trade going or a certification or just doing all these things, and we ended up wasting our time, and a lot of us wasted our money. Because honestly, many of us feel like we did waste our time in college, right? If you're not using your degree. Like some of us, if it wasn't for our experience, especially me, because I went to a HBCU, okay? Shout out to my HBCU, Virginia Union in Richmond, Virginia. But if it wasn't for my HBCU experiencing and the networking I got to do, all the life experience I got, I may be able to make a case that I did waste a lot of money going off to a traditional four-year institution. I totally understand that notion. However, those paths prepared us for where we are now. Even if you feel like you went to school and you got this degree and now you're unhappy and blah, 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 you're not using it or now you don't want to use it, it doesn't matter. Everything that happened on your journey prepares you for where you are now and where you're trying to get to. And what's stopping you is fear. Now think of it like this. You were not scared to take out those student loans. And maybe you were, but you did it anyway. You were not scared to apply for that job. Maybe you were, but you did it anyway. You didn't have all this fear that held you back from going to that job interview. And if you did, you somehow pushed past it and did it anyway. So now that it's time to do something for yourself, now that it's time to come home from work and really get a new burst of energy to sit down and make your business plan or sit down and write out content ideas and do all of these things that you know deep down inside will pay off for your business, why are you letting fear stop you? It just doesn't make sense. The average person will never achieve their wildest dreams because they are simply scared to. Because they didn't have that mentor or that big sister or that friend or that partner, spouse, or even a parent to truly pour into them. And that's why I'm so glad that you're here watching this video right now, because let me be that for you, honey, okay? Therapy is expensive, but YouTube is free. I'm here to help. I want you to start looking at fear as an irrational thought that is coming to creep up and steal your joy. I want you to look at fear as nothing but a trick of the devil, a trick of the enemy to try to stop you from doing what God put you on this earth to do. That is what I want you to view fear as. It is irrational. It has no place in your life, and it has no business trying to stop you from starting your business or from growing your business and scaling it to a place that you can't even dream of. That is how I want you to start looking at fear. And hey, I used to be a counselor. I have empathy. I understand that a lot of things that I'm saying are easier said than done. So let's come up with an action plan the next time you feel imposter syndrome sneaking up, the next time you feel fearful when you're getting ready to make some content or post some content. I want you to think about fear again as this dark cloud hovering over you, this irrational dark cloud of thoughts. And when you have a fearful moment, start working backwards. Like, address the fear head on, address the issue, what it is, and then start asking yourself questions so that you can dismantle this fear. So let me give you an example. Let's say you have a fear of getting in front of the camera and creating a video. You feel really cringy about it. You feel like no one's gonna care what you're posting or what you're talking about. Maybe you feel very uncomfortable and you feel like, once you start posting, you're gonna lose followers. Okay, well, let's take one thing at a time. Let's address the fact that you have a fear of people thinking you sound cringe or, they're gonna unfollow you. Let's address that piece, right? What you would do is you would stop and address this and you would say, okay, this is a fear that I have. And then I want you to work backwards. All right, well, if I have a fear that someone's gonna think that I am cringe, who is this somebody? Is it somebody that really loves you and cares about you? Probably not. It's probably a random follower that you don't even know like that, or someone that's watching your social media and maybe y'all mutually follow each other, but you don't really know them in person. So let's address those people. If they decide to unfollow you because they feel like your video is cringe, that's a valid fear. Okay, I understand that. But ask yourself, do I really want that person as a follower anyway? If they don't enjoy my content, if they want to unfollow me because they feel like I'm being weird or I'm doing too much or whatever irrational thoughts that you have, if they no longer want to be a part of my social media community, let them go. Like, that's how you have to start talking to yourself. And even if it's only 2 people or even if it's 200 people, the best thing about losing followers is those people will be removed from your social media community and they will be replaced with people who actually genuinely care about what you have to say. They will be replaced with people who show up and look forward to your content. They don't think that you're cringe or you're doing too much. In fact, your new followers that come around, because you're gonna get consistent with posting content, they will be excited and looking forward to what you post. They're gonna DM you and leave comments and they will be engaging. That is how I want you to look at it. When you have a fear, you need to address it head on and figure out, okay, what is the root of this fear? I don't want to show up on camera. Okay, I feel cringe. Okay, I feel like I'm gonna lose followers. Okay, so the root is people might not like me. Maybe you are a people pleaser deep down. I don't know. I'm not trying to get in my therapist bag right now, but all of our fears have a root issue and we have to dig deep to figure it out and unpack it so that we can push all of that to the side or just work through it and get to our goals of posting more content and getting consistent on social media and growing our brands, growing our business, okay? And now I'll give you another example. Let's say you've already been posting content and you don't have a fear of losing followers because you've been doing okay, but you're struggling to maybe pivot or post more, get more consistent because you feel like you're not gonna grow. Or maybe you feel like, okay, I've been doing this for some time now, but nobody's really checking for my content. People aren't really interested. They're not really unfollowing me, but they're not giving me the love and support that I really need that I see other content creators have. Okay, that's fine. So let's address that fear. You have a fear of not posting because you feel like it's not working for you. You feel like being consistent isn't gonna change anything. Or maybe you were consistent for a certain point of time and then for whatever reason you decided to give up because you weren't seeing the results that you really wanted. Okay, let's address that fear with data points because men lie, women lie, but the numbers don't lie, okay? Fear will have us lying to ourselves when all we have to do is pick up our phone and look at the data. So you need to go back to the last time that you were consistent. Let's say you were consistently posting back in January. Most people hit the ground running in January. It's a new year. They've had time over the holiday break to create some content. They were off work or they had some downtime and they hit the ground running in January. So let's say you were consistently posting all of January. I'm talking about you were posting Monday, Tuesday, maybe you took Wednesday off, but Thursday, Friday, Saturday, you were going in, you were going ham. Let's say that was you. And let's say you didn't really grow that much. Maybe you only gained maybe 20, 50 followers. Okay. Well, looking at the data, did you ever take some time to look at your analytics and see your high performing content and look through the comments or look through the number of shares that you had, look through the DMs that you had around that time and compare it to your low performing content? Did you ever take a moment to see, maybe I should start a series on the high performing content? If there were 2 pieces of really good performing content, maybe I should start a whole series and do 5 or even 7 reels just about that one topic. Did you ever sit down and really look at your data to see what trends were happening that you could have aligned your content with? I'm not saying that you have to chase trends, because that's something I never do, but let's say there was something on TikTok, like a trend that made its way over to Instagram, and you thought about implementing it, but then you got scared, you talked yourself out of it, or maybe you did and you tried it once and it didn't perform well. Did you ever think about circling back and trying again? You see, a lot of times fear will have us overthinking to the point where we could be looking at all the data and the analytics and the numbers, but instead we decide to just choose our feelings over facts. We decide, you know what, I feel like this or I feel like that. And let me tell you something, when it comes to running a business, you can never run it off of feelings. You have to run it off of data. You have to run it off of insights and analytics. All the biggest companies in the world, look through your home right now, all the brands that you have that you've purchased from that are in your home right now, none of these brands run their companies off of feelings. The CEOs and the founders don't just wake up and be like, you know what, I feel like we can scratch everything we did in the last quarter and just start something new today based off of how I feel. No, they're gonna look at the numbers. They're gonna see, okay, what products hit big last quarter, or what were the sales and the numbers last quarter, and where did we drop, where did we fall, where did we see a decline? That is how professionals move, and I want you to start running your content like a professional. You cannot wake up every morning and choose feelings over facts. That's not how it works. Now, of course, emotions and feelings do play a really good role when it comes to content creation, because all of us are creatives. That's just how it works when it comes to our world as content creators. We move off of emotions and vibes and feelings, but in order to have a successful business, you have to learn how to merge the gap and bring the two together. Yes, I create content based off of how I feel, of course. Like, I'm a lifestyle creator. I create content about motherhood and marriage and style and self-care and all these things that make me feel good. But when it comes to creating series and trying new things and even looking at how to align my brand with some of the trends that are going on, like when it comes to really creating content strategically, I have to bring in the facts, and that's what I need you to do. And again, I don't want to minimize your fears and your irrational thoughts, because you have every right to feel how you feel. I'm not here to ever do that or belittle how you feel. However, I'm here to empower you and remind you that when you start working backwards from the fear, when you start really unpacking and asking yourself questions about why you had these negative feelings or why you don't see yourself as other people in your life see you, most of it stems from childhood, which is a different story for a different day. A lot of us need to unpack that and go to therapy. But aside from that, most of us struggle with imposter syndrome simply because we might be the first or maybe the second or third person in our whole family that is trying to pursue a road less traveled. Most of us come from working class families. Like, my dad was in the military, he was also a pastor. My mom worked all kinds of jobs, from retail to working for the city. Both of them were working class citizens, and neither one of them or any of my grandparents or, distant family relatives, none of them had an entrepreneurial journey for me to sit down and talk with them and get advice. That is what I want you to remember. As you are trying to pursue content, even if you're trying to do it as a side hustle, it doesn't matter. It is still something that you have to jumpstart yourself. You have to be a self-starter. You have to know how to wake up and decide, okay, this is how I'm gonna structure out my time for the day. This is how I'm gonna budget my finances accordingly so I have money to run my household, but also invest in my side hustle. Like, you still have to be a self-starter. And the average person watching this video right now, you simply didn't grow up with an amazing example to fall up under. You don't have nepotism, because if you did, you probably would have never clicked on this video in the first place. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you were a Fortune 500 trust fund baby, there's no reason why you would be scouring YouTube trying to figure out how to become a successful content creator or how to start this business, because you would already have money in your trust fund. Most of us come from working class families, so I want you to make sure you're giving yourself grace as you're going along this journey of discovery and trying to beat out imposter syndrome and get over your fears. Give yourself grace while also holding yourself accountable, okay? Because you need a balance of both. I never want you to sit around and just have a pity party, a woe is me party, and feel bad for yourself. But I also want you to be realistic and know you're not starting really from anywhere close to the finish line, baby, you all the way in the back. Most of us, especially if you are a black woman or a black man, a person of color, most of us, we don't have a head start, baby, we all the way in the back. And that's just how it is in our country. So moving forward, I want you to look at fear as irrational thoughts and really hone in on asking yourself pivotal questions that will really help you see, okay, this doesn't really make any sense. I am overthinking this situation. I am letting fear take over right now, and I need to put a stop to it. I need to hold myself accountable. That is what I want you to do on your content creation journey or whatever journey you're on for your entrepreneurial endeavors. Fear has no place here. Write it down, put it on your mirror, put it on your refrigerator, put it on your screensaver. Make sure you say it every morning. Fear has no place here. And now that we've talked about getting over our fears, let's address the other big elephant in the room, and that's the lack of consistency. Because baby, I'm here to tell you, if you don't know how to show up for yourself and your brand, you will never be a successful content creator or a successful entrepreneur, period. I'm so sorry to tell you, you can't do anything in life at a high level without consistency. It just doesn't work like that. Now hold up, because I'm not about to continue this without giving you a real definition, okay? I come from education, that's my background. So I wanna give you a real textbook definition of the word consistent, okay? That is the root word of consistency, consistent. All right, so consistent, it is an adjective, meaning that is how you describe something. For the purposes of this video, that is how we will describe ourselves. How are we gonna be consistent? So the definition says, consistent, acting or done in the same way over time, especially so as to be fair or accurate. Unchanging in nature, standard, or effect over time. Did you hear that part when I said over time? Both definitions included the word over time. I need you to know that. I don't think that it's a coincidence that the definition of consistency has two uses of over time in it. You wanna know why? Because there's no way that you can sit up here and tell me, Shay, I've been doing this for so long and nothing was happening, so I just feel like nobody's checking for my content, or I just feel like nobody wants to see my style videos, nobody cares about my makeup videos, nobody cares about my get ready with me's. Have you been really doing it over time? Have you been consistent in showing up for yourself and your brand and your audience over time? Probably not, because if you did, one of two things would happen. Either A, you would figure out, wow, the people love me, they love it here, they're following the journey, okay, I love this, and you would stick around for a while. Or B, you would see, they're liking something I'm doing over here, but when I was doing that consistently, they didn't like that. So I need to pivot to this. You would actually have enough data to show you which direction you should go. The average person watching this video right now, I'm about to gather you, I'm about to get you together. You have never really poured into your brand consistently over time long enough to see real results. And that is why you are struggling. Not everybody, but the average person watching this video right now. How do I know that? Because I was you, okay? I am you, you are me. Not right now, currently, because I'm on another level of my brand, but before this, before all the things that you see here, okay, it was a struggle. I spent so much time with self-doubt, so much time letting fear and imposter syndrome take over. There was a moment where I would literally just second guess everything that I posted, and then I would change directions, like, okay, I'm gonna do a style video today, or maybe I'll do some DIY over here, another video, okay, they don't like that, so now let me just do a date night. Ooh, they didn't really like that. I was switching gears so much that I never really took time enough to pour into one or two things consistently to see if it's really gonna hit. And that's a lot of you all's problem. You will try something, and because we live in a microwave society and you don't see the results that you want instantly, you fall off, and now you lack consistency. But that's not gonna work. You have to, again, based on the definition here in the textbook, you have to do something in the same way over time. Unchanging in nature, be standard and unchanging in nature, and effect over time. And of course you're gonna ask me, well, how long are we supposed to wait? How long do I have to show up and make these get ready with me's, or learn how to edit before one of these videos pop off? Only you can answer that. Because let me tell you something, for me, even though I was struggling and I had a lot of fear and imposter syndrome in the beginning, I knew that I was never gonna stop. I knew that at some point, one thing is gonna pop off, one or two things. Like, I had it in my mind, call me a little delusional, call me what you want, but I had it in my mind that eventually I'm going to get to the level that I've always dreamed of. Why? Because I was built for this. I was made for this. I'm walking in purpose. I'm walking in alignment. Like, I knew very early on that working in the school system and also working in the corporate world when I went into tech, I knew that those were just pieces of my journey to get me here. I knew that I wasn't going to be a guidance counselor forever. I knew that I wasn't going to work in tech forever. I just knew it. I didn't know how, when, what. I didn't know all the details, but I knew it in my heart. I could discern it. I could feel it. I was meant to work for myself. And not just because I want the money to travel the world and dress fancy and buy nice jewelry and do all that. I mean, yeah, that's a part of it, but because I knew that my brand was bigger than me. And I knew for a fact that God was going to use me as a vessel to bless others. And I was going to be put in position to inspire people like you watching this video right now. I knew that. I felt it. And that is something I want you to think about tonight. I want you to have a conversation with yourself and also have a conversation with God and figure out, am I walking in purpose? Am I struggling right now with consistency because I really ain't got no business making videos about this when I should really be sharing my testimony? Maybe you're lacking consistency because you're really not walking in alignment. Maybe you're lacking the consistency to show up for yourself because you have no business making the content that you're trying to make, because you're really trying to make this content because you see other women making it. You see other content creators becoming successful off of it, making money off of it, but really you're meant to tell your story. You're meant to share your testimony. You're meant to do something totally left when you're trying to go right. Maybe that's the reason why you're lacking consistency. There could be a long list of reasons. I mean, I ain't got all day here, but usually those are one of the top two. Either you're just not believing in yourself, you're being lazy, or you are on the wrong path and you need to pray for discernment to figure it out. I am telling you, it's like a light bulb that's gonna go off, a eureka moment. Once you figure out what path you are supposed to be aligned on, things are gonna start working out for you, for your good. I can promise you that. There was a point in time with my business where I started doing thrifting. My brand was called Good Girls Thrift. I'll put a picture right here for you to see. My Instagram page is still up to this day if you want to go back and scroll and look at all the content that I was making. And I was very consistent on that page. You know, I hit 100K in like less than a year as far as followers goes. And then I made my first 6 figures. And I think like the first 2 years, like I was doing very well, but I was unfulfilled. And after a while, I just kind of lacked consistency. Like I wasn't showing up as much. And when I was kind of just throwing content together. I was piecing things together. I really wasn't pouring into it like I should have, like I was before. And that's when I realized, okay, this is not what I'm meant to do forever. This was a season. And a lot of you are lacking consistency because you are stuck in a season that you're no longer supposed to be in. Baby, you in summer and spring, you supposed to be in fall and winter. God has already been trying to elevate you and you are late to the party, okay? I meet so many content creators online and in person at events, and when I hear them talk, it's like they're holding on to this dream of what could have been, what should have been. And that's how I was with Good Girls Thrift. I had this vision of me being like, you know, the sustainable brand where all I do is show hacks and show people, you know, how to save money and how to live a better life on a budget. And I just had this vision of me being like the sustainable fashion queen, which I was, and that was cool. But God had more in store for me. He wanted me to tell my story about motherhood and to be a shining light and example about healthy Black marriage and to break negative stereotypes and to really be a beacon of light and hope for the overworked mom, the tired mom, the mom who is struggling with postpartum depression, the mom who looks in the mirror and doesn't see a beautiful face and beautiful body like she used to. God wanted to elevate my brand to be in a new position and a different level so that I can make a true impact. Not to say that I wasn't making an impact with my thrifting content, because it was lighthearted, it was fun, it was a place where we could all share our experiences about thrifting. I mean, I had built a whole community over there. That's where my term Good Girl Tribe really began. It began with Good Girls Thrift. And I saw it as, you know, this amazing community of women who were coming together, and we were creatives, and we were, you know, turning trash into treasure and saving money and looking good while doing it. You know, we had all these things going on with Good Girls Thrift, but God saw something so much greater, bigger than I could have ever imagined. And once I really started to analyze my life and the content that I was making and the unfulfillment that I had, I realized, okay, I need to start sharing more of my personal journey and my testimony. I need to start figuring out how I can go back to making an impact, just like I did when I worked in the school system. I knew I didn't want to go back to working in the school system and, you know, working as a counselor, but I knew I wanted to have that same feeling that I had when I worked with my students, when I helped them to be motivated and encouraged and, you know, to reach new heights when it came to their own endeavors. That's the feeling that I was chasing. So for you, I'm not saying that you got to get on Instagram tonight or, you know, go on TikTok live and start telling all your business. I'm not saying that, but you need to figure out, how is your brand going to make an impact? How are you you going to be put in position where God can use you as a vessel? Because honestly, if you're just here you know, to make money, that's not going to be sustainable. I'm sorry. Like, obviously we all need to make money, right? You don't want to be making content for free forever, but money cannot be the sole motivation for you building a brand. And that's with anything. Like, it doesn't matter what type of entrepreneurial journey you're on, it can't just be about the money. You have to have a passion behind it. And normally when it comes to passions and building a brand, especially like a startup or, you know, you're building something from the ground up, it's usually a service or product that's rooting in helping to make something better. You know what I'm saying? Like, even if it's something with engineering or electronics or even down to clothing and style, like, you're trying to help make something better. Maybe your passion is to help the curvy or thicker girls feel better about themselves when they get dressed. I love when I see the curvy fashion influencers, the plus size girlies, trying to help build the self-esteem of women who feel like, oh, I don't know how to dress for my size, or oh, I can't find stores that really have nice fashionable clothes in my size. Maybe that's your passion. It's not just because you want to look cute and make money and get dressed. Maybe that is, but it can't just be solely that. It has to be because you want to elevate the confidence of someone. You know what I'm saying? Or maybe you do nails or do makeup, or maybe hell, maybe you sell houses, or maybe you do real estate. Whatever it is, you are in the business of serving people in some way, shape, or form, and your content has to speak to that. I don't care if you are a lifestyle content creator, if you have a physical product, a service, it doesn't matter. You have to show up through your content and bring value to someone's timeline. And that is another big part of consistency. That is one of the big missing pieces that I see so many content creators struggle with. They don't know how to bring value. So when you lack value, when you're just showing up off of vibes and, you know, no strategy, no intention, no passion, no heart, of course you're gonna lack consistency, because what are you showing up for? Who are you showing up for? Who is your audience? Who are you trying to attract? If you can't answer those questions right now, then I'm gonna tell you, we got a lot of work to do. Okay, let's switch gears for a second, because I feel like I've just been going in on you, gathering you, getting you together, reading you for filth, and I also wanna have empathy and give you a big hug, okay? Like, I don't wanna just be going in and going off on you, because of course I'm your accountability partner, right? But I'm also your counselor, your big sis, or little sis, depending on how old you are. But I'm also, like, you know, your virtual mentor. So let me first take a moment to say you're doing a good job. You might not be doing the best you can, but we're gonna get there, okay? And I wanna give you a quick strategy that I always talk about when it comes to getting consistent, of how to really hit the ground running, like tonight. You could start this today. You could have homework right now in this very moment, okay? So let's talk about building your content pillars. Because if you are struggling with consistency right now, a big issue with that is that when you sit down to create the content or come up with ideas, you have all these things going on in your head and you really don't know what to hone in and focus on. So I want you to write down, what are my content tiers? I'm gonna give you mine and then I'm gonna help you build yours, okay? So for one, my overarching like umbrella up here, all right, it's lifestyle. I'm a lifestyle content creator, meaning that I show bits and pieces of my whole life, okay? And I break that down into different content tiers, or you can call them content pillars, whatever word tickles your fancy, all right? So my tiers are my family content, that's marriage and motherhood, okay? That's tier number 1. Then I also have style, of course. Gotta get into the style. That's tier number 2. Then I also have self-care, which is huge, okay? Especially because I'm
a mother, okay? I need my self-care.
That's 3. And then I have beauty. You know, I'm definitely not as into it as I should be, especially because like I'm on the Sephora squad. So those are my content tiers. And then I sprinkle in travel, but I feel like that goes with family because usually when I travel, I'm with Jeremiah. And then if I'm with myself, it's like the entrepreneurial aspect. Oh yeah, I can definitely say that's another tier, just being an entrepreneur, boss lady. So we have, again, family, we have style, we have self-care, beauty, and then being a boss, all right? Those are my content tiers. So this means under my umbrella of lifestyle, when you come to my page, you will always see content that fits into one of these tiers, all right? You are not going to see a random piece of content about, you know, going and looking for dinosaur bones, honey, archaeologists series or just something random that has nothing to do with my content tiers, because that does not fall under my umbrella. You know what I'm saying? Like, I stick to what works best for me, because for one, I like to make content that is authentic and realistic. Like, it's literally my life. I'm a lifestyle content creator. That's my umbrella. But for two, I make content that comes easy and natural to me. So if you are struggling right now to figure out your content tiers, it may be because you see yourself as one thing, but really that's a facade and it's just something that you think looks cool. Like, maybe you see yourself as this beauty guru, but the makeup tutorials you do, they're not really hitting. I don't know. Maybe you're not really practicing enough, or if you are practicing, maybe you just don't have a hand for it. Like, if I try to draw or do some painting tomorrow, I simply wouldn't be able to get consistent with that because I'm just not a good drawer. I'm not a good painter, and I'm okay with that. We don't have to be good at everything. Another example of this is that you're not gonna see a lot of cooking content from me because I'm not the girl that's gonna be in the kitchen. Like, my husband does a lot of the cooking. I will gladly whip up a quick breakfast for you or make you a cute little snack, but when it comes to really getting down and making the dinner and doing a whole spread,
Hey baby, that's just not me. And I'm not afraid to say that. I'm not ashamed of that.
that is not my forte. You know what I'm saying? So I want you to be real and authentic with yourself. If you feel like you need to be a beauty guru, or you need to be a chef, or you need to really show off your style, your fashion, your nails, or whatever, and you do it consistently for a while, and for whatever reason, the content ain't really hitting, nobody's really checking for it, maybe, just maybe, you need to pivot and switch directions. There's nothing wrong with that. Like, if I fell and bumped my head, child, and decided I was gonna be a cooking content creator, if I started doing recipes, and I was in the kitchen like, whew, I'm tired. I only made about 2 videos and I'm stressed out and I'm overwhelmed and I'm sweating and that's a sign that I ain't got no business doing that, okay? So the same goes for you watching this right now. If you are trying to film some skincare tonight and you find yourself just fumbling and you're trying to talk while you're also washing your face and you're dropping stuff everywhere and you're just overwhelmed, it's either A, you're having a little bit of anxiety and a mini panic attack, you need to calm down, okay, take your time, practice, or B, maybe you saw somebody do it and you thought it looked cool, so you would do a story time while you're doing your skincare. You just ain't got no business doing that. Like, it's either one or the other. Either you need to practice more or you have no business doing it. Those are the only 2 options. And this just goes back to having realistic, true conversations in the mirror with ourselves, okay? Because I think that a big part of the issue with so many content creators is that we are overexposed to everybody's content. Like, we're constantly scrolling. Every time you get on Instagram and TikTok and YouTube, you're seeing what everyone else is doing. And worst of all, you're seeing what other people are doing well that you're not. So then you may feel this pressure like, oh my God, she did a get ready with me for date night. I need to do one too. Okay, let me go do it. And then you're uncomfortable, you feel very odd in front of the camera, you look weird, and next thing you know, you done did about 10 of them and none of them are hitting on nothing. Like, none of them are getting likes and engagement and comments. And at some point you have to ask yourself, is it because you really wanted to do a get ready with me, or did you see a bunch of other people doing it and you thought it looked cool? Do you really want to make that skincare content, or you saw somebody get to meet Rihanna and you want to attract Fenty Beauty so maybe you can meet Rihanna one day? Like, do you really want to make the content that you're trying to make? Because if you did, I feel like you would have a passion for it. Like, I know I want to make style content every day if I could. Like, obviously I don't just make that because I have different content tiers, but if I could choose, like if it was up to me and I didn't have my manager telling me I need to get into other things, baby, I would just make style content. That's all I would focus on. But because I'm building a lifestyle brand, and to be honest and transparent with you, most of the money in content creation does not come from solely style content. And what I mean by that is the brand deals that are always activating, most of the money comes from diverse campaigns that have to do with lifestyle, like not just solely activations that have to do with getting dressed, okay? Of course you can make money by getting a style collaboration with Target or Walmart or TJ Maxx or even Nordstrom or Saks. Like, of course there's money in that, but the big money is coming from other things, honey, okay? Like, you got family content, you got travel, you got beauty and, skincare and hair and makeup. There's so much money out there. So of course, like I said, if I just wanted to focus on one thing, I could do style content all day long. But me building my brand is bigger than just me making money for me. Like, I have family, you know what I'm saying? Like, I have a staff, I have a team I'm taking care of. Like, I have people that I really want to bless and help. And again, I see my brand as a vessel. So I just personally can't wake up every day and choose style content because for my goals, there's not enough money in that. However, If you are somebody that wants to just focus on one thing and you only have you and yourself to worry about, honey, just do that. Like, if it was just me, baby, I would do style content and only focus on that. Like, that would be my sole thing. But I have bigger dreams and it requires a lot more revenue than just soul style content can provide for me. So I said all of that to say, you need to get in the mirror, have a real conversation with yourself and figure out, what are your content tiers going to be? What is your overarching umbrella? Okay, how mine is lifestyle, and then I have all these buckets of content tiers. What is your main title gonna be? And then underneath that, what are the different video categories that you can show up and make content for? And of course, remember, you don't have to have as many as I do. Like, I have like 4 or 5, maybe 6 tiers. I'm not saying that has to be you, but you need 1 or 2 things or even 3 things to experiment with to figure out, what do people want to see you do? What do people want to see more of from you? If you are a hair content creator and you only show up and wash your hair every single time and it's not hitting, you're not getting a lot of comments and engagement, then that means you need to sprinkle in other things. Maybe you don't want to steer away from hair. Maybe you want to do product reviews. Maybe you want to start doing tutorials. Maybe you want to talk about the different textures of hair. And this brings me to my next point to clarify. Your content tiers don't have to be completely different buckets like mine are. Like, marriage and motherhood has nothing to do with skincare, and self-care, you know, has nothing to do with, well, it kind of can relate to travel, but you get what I'm trying to say. Like, my content tiers, like style and travel and all that, these are different buckets. But for you, you can have your overarching umbrella be one topic, and then all of those content tiers underneath can still deal with your one topic. You can be a food content creator, but then underneath with your content tiers, you can have how you do brunch, how you do dinner, how you do meal prepping, how you do desserts. Like, that all still has to do with food. Does that make sense? You can be a travel vlogger or you know, some type of travel content creator, but underneath maybe you're giving tips about how to travel, you know, you're showing the aesthetics and the different scenery, you know, when you go out and travel. Another content tier can be, you have a series on giving suggestions on where to go for birthday trips or bachelorette parties, bachelor parties, destination weddings. Like, there can be different tiers that still are directly related to your overarching umbrella. Does that make sense? Let me know in the comments if you know your content tiers, or if you are struggling to find your content tiers. Let me know in the comments. Maybe you're somebody that you have like 10 different things, you feel like they're not related, but you're trying to figure out how to intertwine them. I am here to help. Again, I'm your virtual counselor, mentor, big sis bestie. I want to make sure that you are figuring out your different content tiers and what is your overall umbrella gonna be, so that you can show up consistently and make content, so that when you sit down in front of a camera like I'm sitting right here, you know what you're gonna talk about, or when you turn your camera on or you open your phone, you know what part of your life you're gonna show. Let me know right now in the comments, because I want to help you. Okay, y'all, let's get into some Q&A from my broadcast channel. There were so many questions. Oh my gosh, there was almost 100. So between the last 2 videos where I had a portion of the Q&A, I still didn't finish them, but I am determined to answer every question. Some of them are duplicates though, or they're questions that are similar to each other. So I'm trying to pick out the ones that I've either never answered or that are just standalone questions that aren't related to the others. So this next question says, how do you create your social media to target your target audience? This is a good question. I feel like what they're trying to ask is more so, how do you create your content? Because they said social media, but I think they mean like, how do you create content to attract, or that's what I'm getting from this question. And this is something I could talk about for days. I'm gonna try to sum it up. But basically, your content has to answer the call. Your content has to show up and provide value, like I always say, to solve someone's problem. So for me, I love to create content about style and, you know, elevated casual, how to be comfortable but still give a look, because I'm answering the questions that women have about how to get dressed real cute real fast and still be confident when I leave the house and my pinky toe won't hurt. Like, how do I look good after having a baby? How do I look good after being so stressed out and tired? How do I show up for myself? That is the call that my content is answering. So when I make content, I make it with those women in mind. When I make my self-care content, I make it for the tired, overworked woman in mind. I make it for the woman who is burnt out, that has not done nothing for herself in forever. She can't remember the last time that she booked a massage or a spa day or got her hair done or her nails done or had a day to herself. Like, I make content with those women in mind, and that's why I am attracting those women. When I make content about my entrepreneurial journey, leaving my job and, you know, working my traditional 9-to-5, working in education, the reason that so many many of you watching this right now can relate to that struggle is because I attracted you here. My content answered your call. My content answered the questions that you had. Even if it comes down to like date night, something fun with my husband, my content is solving the issue of people who are scrolling and seeing so many toxic relationships and celebrity breakups and all the mess in the blogs, you know, all the tea and the crazy things that are happening. My content showing my healthy, beautiful Black family. The type of content that I'm putting out is attracting the people who are in search of that positivity. And even if you're not in search of it, you stumble upon it and realize, wow, I haven't gotten dressed in a while. I haven't been out and felt cute and not had to wear heels. I haven't been out on a really nice date with somebody who really cares about me and listens to me and talks to me and really pours into me. Wow, I haven't been able to travel here. Like, I'm answering questions with my content, but I'm also providing value and showing people a lifestyle that maybe they never even thought of. That is why you are here right now. Like, even if you've never seen my marriage or family content, you've seen my style content. Even if you've never seen my style content, maybe you've seen my self-care content. There's a reason why you're watching this video here. Why? Because I attracted you here. So when you are sitting down to create your content for your target audience, you have to think, what are the prototypes of people that I want to attract? For me, I wanted to attract women who are working class, who also maybe want to start a side hustle or do both, or maybe they want to work for themselves completely. Women who are choosing not to have children because they understand that ain't the lifestyle I want to live. I want to travel the world. I want to be free of responsibility. I don't care about them kids. Team F them kids. I make content for them, okay? I make content for the mothers too, the ones who want children, or maybe they're trying to have children. They're on a journey for that. I make content for them. I make content for the woman who wants to be married, wants to have a healthy, loving relationship, wants to have a God-fearing man in their life that will go to bat for them. The woman who wants to break generational curses and really have this beautiful Black love story. I create content for them. I create content for so many different women, but they all have one thing in common, and that is they are pieces of me. Even the girls that I create content for that are like, team F them kids, that was once me. I didn't want kids before I met my husband. I was very much, I'm gonna be the rich auntie, I'm gonna travel and do what I wanted to, but then I realized you can do all that and still be a mom too. But I didn't know that back then. But like I said, I still create content for those women because I understand those women. You know what I'm saying? Like, I understand you watching this video right now. There's nobody watching this video in this very moment that I cannot relate to in some way, shape, or form. And that's what I want you to remember when you are sitting down figuring out what are your content tiers going to be. You have to figure out, who are you going to be serving with your content? What is their story? How does a potential follower reflect your story? How does a potential follower make up pieces of your own life? That is what I want you to think of. Even if you're not a lifestyle content creator, or, you know, something that I named earlier, even if you're selling a physical product, you need to figure out, what content am I going to create that will attract my ideal customer? Who is your ideal customer? Where do they live? What do they do for fun? Where do they like to shop? What do they like to do for educational resources? You know, how do they do self-care? You need to get in the mind of your ideal follower or your ideal customer. And that is how you will attract your target audience. And I'm gonna tell you right now, authenticity always wins. People are not stupid. People are not dumb.
I mean, let me take that back. People do be stupid.
And people do be dumb.
I want to say that. When it comes to your target audience, give people credit, okay? People are smart. They're gonna know if you're showing up and doing all this because it's really true to you, or if you're just doing it trying to chase a quick bag, okay? I'm gonna say it again. People be knowing. If you on here trying to make a quick buck and sell some courses, that's no shade to the girlies who are selling courses and doing all these ebooks and all these marketing webinars, because I've had an ebook in the past. I've done webinars in the past. There's nothing wrong with that. But for the people who are just every 5 minutes trying to sell you something, every 5 minutes they're trying to get you to go pay $100 to do another masterclass and download this and download that.
Child.
Is it really given that you're here to help me, or do you just want to take my money? Okay, like, we got to start asking those type of questions, and that's what your audience is going to do. When you show up, they're going to think to themselves, I don't know, she feels real salesy. She feels like she's pushing me and pressuring me to download this ebook. People can spot that fakeness from a mile away. Not everybody, but the type of person I am, baby, I can tell. I can tell the scheme, I can tell the scam. So you gotta ask yourself, what is the content that I'm gonna create that won't come off like you're doing too much, okay? Won't come off like you're being inauthentic, and won't come off like you're just copying the next content creator. What is gonna be true and authentic to you, your story, your brand, or your physical product or service that you're selling? And then go chase that. that. Go chase impact over dollars. I'm trying to tell you, do not chase the money. If you chase passion, if you chase impact, the money will come. Whew, so many questions, y'all. Like, I'm trying to go through them and pick out the good ones. Okay, the next question is, what does your planning and content creation schedule look like? This is a really good question because, baby, you need a schedule, okay? You have to stop running your brand off of vibes and energy. You can't just wake up and choose the vibes. You need structure. I'm trying to tell you, I ran my brand off of vibes for a long time. And baby, it put me behind, okay? I could be a whole lot further than I am now if I would have started off with structure. So I'm gonna put you on game. You have to learn how to batch create your content. So for an example, today I got up super early. I did my makeup. After that, I had a quick bite to eat. Well, I was really like nibbling on my breakfast while I was doing my makeup. And then from there, I shot 2 campaigns and then 2 regular organic reels. And when I say organic, that means it's not an ad. It's just like content that I wanna make because I'm making impact, you know, like regular content on my page. And then I started shooting this video. So already that's 5 pieces of content, including this. This is a long form content that I have created. That is really good for starting at 6 a.m. And that is also a luxury of time because I do work for myself. But let me say this, the same thing applies even if you have a regular 9-to-5 job, because I've been there. I was not always a full-time content creator. Back when I worked in the school system, I was commuting back and forth to work, okay? And then when I did work in tech, I worked from home, but I still had a lot of duties and responsibilities on that laptop where I had to be in meetings and all kind of stuff. So I still had to budget my time accordingly. So you need to make sure you're coming up with a system. Now, there's gonna be different ways you can do this. You can pick your batch content creation day and just make it your standard day every week where everyone knows, don't bother her, don't call her, don't text her, don't ask her for nothing, because on Sunday or Saturday morning, she's gonna get up super early, she's gonna get herself together, do her hair or her skincare routine, whatever, film whatever she gotta film, do her makeup, and she's gonna spend all day recording. That could be your standard weekly day. Or if you're someone who has a schedule that is always changing, maybe you work a job, like if you work in retail, your schedule won't be the same. Every week you may work different hours. Like I used to work in retail back when I lived in my hometown. And some weeks I might work, you know, 3 days a week, 4 days a week. Some weeks I may work 6, 7 days a week. It would just depend. So if you're someone where your schedule is always changing, maybe, just maybe, you need to switch it up and say, okay, if I know I'm gonna have my schedule in advance, like maybe you're a manager at your job or you're cool with the manager and you can have a peek and know like what's to come for your schedule, you can decide in advance, okay, for this week, Wednesday is gonna be my batch content creation day. For next week, it's gonna be Friday. Okay, and if you have your schedule for the whole month, let's say you're a nurse or you work in, you know, something in healthcare where you have your schedule, you know, for the whole year, whatever, you can pick out your days in advance. But either way, once you figure out your days, you need to plan accordingly. Get up as early as possible. There's no more sleeping in when you want to be a true content creator, okay? There are some days I'll sleep in, of course, like if I've set myself up for success and I already have batch content created and I edited everything, then I can afford to sleep in. But if you are in grind season where you are really trying to batch create a lot of content, baby, you can't afford to sleep in, okay? The early bird gets the worm. Wake up, get up as early as possible and shoot as much as you can, but don't start your batch recording day without a plan. Please don't get up at 6 a.m. and do your hair and get cute and then just sit there and sit on the phone and scroll for ideas. That makes absolutely no sense. You need to keep a running note in your phone, on a spreadsheet, or somewhere that you can access where you have all of your ideas that you've been collecting, you've been accumulating. I have a note system. I use, you know, spreadsheets. I have folders on Instagram and TikTok. I have all types of sources to where I get my inspiration from. You have to do what's best for you. Maybe you have a physical planner. I don't really like my handwriting, so I don't do a lot of writing, but if you're someone who likes to write down every single thing, get a nice, good planner. You can get like a custom planner on Etsy. There's plenty of ways that you can stay organized with your thoughts and ideas so that when you sit down, you can be efficient. Because what you don't want to do is sit down and overthink or start scrolling, get lost in the sauce, and next thing you know it's 3 or 4 o'clock and you've recorded a portion of a reel, or you recorded maybe 2 TikToks and that's it. No, when you batch content create, your goal is to crank out at least 5 videos. And of course, it's also gonna depend on what you're recording, right? Like obviously, if I'm recording for YouTube, I'm not gonna crank out 5 different YouTube videos in one day, unless it's like really short videos. Like let's say I do like 2 quick style hauls, 1 advice video, tutorials or Q&A, something like that. That's different. But If you know, are serious about vlogging and doing, you know, long form content, you wouldn't be able to do all that in one day. But what you can do is one YouTube video like I'm doing right now, and then set a goal of creating 4 forms of short content. And that can be posted on your TikTok, your Instagram, and your YouTube Shorts. Another tip I have for you is to repurpose content that you already have. A lot of us, we think that when we post something, that's it. Like, whoop, posted that, get ready with me, I'm good. No, post it again. Not only should you repost your content, but you can also mix and match different clips and different things. There's so many ways to repurpose content, and that is how you work smarter, not harder. Every time you want to post, it doesn't have to be something fresh and new. Why? Because most people are not even seeing your content. Think about it. The way the algorithm is set up, your content is being shown to the people who are interacting with what you're posting about. So if I am, you know, a travel page and all I post is travel stuff, if there are people that follow me that have not been interacting with a lot of travel content lately, maybe they've been interacting with, I don't know, fashion content or beauty content or just something else, then my content probably won't pop up on their feed because I'm only posting travel vlogs. But then once they start interacting with more travel content, then my content will come back on their feed. Like, that's just how the algorithm works. It's meant to feed you. That's why it's called a feed. It's meant to show you content that you genuinely want to see and interact with because they want to keep you on the app. Like, they want your attention. They want to show you ads. That's just how it works. You know what I'm saying? So next time you sit down to create your content, make sure that you are not just hyper focused on, oh my God, I gotta make this one video and then make something else completely different. No, figure out ways to shoot and film that you are making multiple pieces of content that can be reused. Like if you're gonna do a get ready with me, you need to film the get ready with me, but also continue filming when you're going throughout the day. Maybe you're setting up to do something, maybe you're going out with your friends or going to grab lunch or going to the grocery store. Just have your camera on. I'm telling you, a lot of the content that I've had that performed really well, it's not the most heavily thought out and planned out content. A lot of it just be me having B-roll. That's the extra footage that I have. A lot of it is just me showing bits and pieces and throwing a voiceover over it. Like, you don't always have to have this super highly edited and aesthetically pleasing, beautifully shot content on an amazing camera. No, a lot of the content that I've done that really performed well, yeah, some of it's on my camera, but a lot of it just be straight from my phone. So again, make sure that when you sit down to create, you are coming up with a true strategy long before you turn that camera on, long before you sit down to do your makeup or hair, whatever you're gonna do. Make sure that you have in your mind, what are the things that you wanna record and have a theme going. How am I gonna repurpose and use this content so I can work smarter, not harder? Ooh, this is a good one, y'all. Wow, okay. I was just talking to Jeremiah about this too. So this person says, can you please talk about the issue of exposing your children as a content creator and protecting their privacy? Whew. All right, so this is something that I go back and forth with all the time because before anything else, well, it's God, my husband, my child. So let me make sure I put that together. That is the hierarchy of my life: God, my husband, my child, okay? But because my child is up here, all right, she's above everything else that comes underneath, I definitely struggle with that a lot. I struggle with wanting to show Gigi, because you know, y'all seen her, if you're not new here, right, you've seen her popping in and out of my vlogs from time to time, or you may have seen Jeremiah and I, you know, putting her down for the bedtime routine. I struggle all the time with wanting to show her because I love her, she's my pride and joy, but also we live in a very weird world, okay? We live in a dangerous world. People are crazy and people are very cringe and just weird, you know what I'm saying? And also, people be doing too much. Like, a lot of people project their feelings. You know, when she was a newborn, oh my God, Lord, even when I was pregnant, I got all these moms just projecting their negative energy on me. Like, I wore heels a lot when I was pregnant. You know, obviously I'm a style content creator. Child, I could just be doing a get ready with me in the house and have on my heels just showing the look of the day. And it's all these, you know, moms coming in my comments like, oh, you're gonna have issues with your pregnancy because your ankles are gonna be swollen and you're always in heels. You need to be sitting down, you need to be resting. Like,
girl, shut up. Like,
I had so many issues even before Gigi was born. But back to the question about addressing the issue of exposing our children, protecting their privacy, I don't have an answer. I don't, because I struggle with it all the time. Like, I was just telling Jeremiah the other day, I had this feeling that I just need to wipe all evidence of Gigi off of my Instagram and my YouTube and my TikTok. Just get rid of any evidence of her because people don't deserve her. That's my baby. That's my pride and joy. She's my whole world. Like, I need to just not let people see that side of my life because they don't deserve her. I genuinely have that thought every other day. But on the other hand, the other thoughts that I have of, you know what? I am showing her in a healthy way. Like, I'm not overexposing her. I don't always like have the camera in her face. If anything, I post her more on my stories, like on Instagram, and sometimes she'll say picture, and like she'll come and she'll see me on my phone. She wants to take a picture with me. You know, I give her a lot of leeway to, like, you know, play around with my tripod and stuff, and I'm exposing her to my career as a content creator. You know, I see the positives of that, and also, more importantly, showing a God-fearing, healthy, non-toxic Black family. Okay, that's another thing. Like, I want to be that beacon of hope and love and light, and really showing what that can look like. So again, I don't have an answer. You can let me know in the comments how you feel. Like, when you see the motherhood influencers or the family influencers, do you feel like it's fair for them to show their children, especially when you don't really have consent? Like, Gigi's only 2, so she's not even old enough to give me consent to film her. Obviously, she's my child, so I can do what I want, but is it fair to her? Like, what if she grows up and she's like, oh, Mom, I don't know why you have all these videos with me. I don't want to be on your Instagram. I don't want to be on your YouTube. Like, I would have to delete it. I would have to take that down. I would feel horrible as a mother, as a parent. Like, I just couldn't even imagine. But on the other side, what if she grows up and she wants to be into content? Like, what if she wants to do style videos or do something, you know, with social media? She'll already have like a little portfolio because she's been working with me. I just go back and forth with it, y'all. I'm not gonna lie. That's one of the things I do not have an answer for. But the best thing I can tell you is do what works best for you. Like, even though I struggle with that in this very moment, I feel comfortable knowing that I have like a balance. Like, I'm not showing her every single day on my page. Like, my whole page is not dedicated to just me showing my child. And for those people who do that, there's nothing wrong with that. Let me make sure I clarify that. There are motherhood and family lifestyle influencers that all they show is their family, and I think it's so beautiful, especially for a healthy Black beautiful family. I love it. I engage with the content. I comment, I share, I like. I love seeing it. But for me personally, I know I don't want my entire identity just to be that I'm a mom. I'm so much more than that. I wear so many hats. Like, I don't want just my page to be solely my child, but I have no problem, and it's none of my business when other women do it. And I champion that content. I love it. I think it's so beautiful. I just want to have a balance. But again, let me know in the comments, especially if you are a parent, or if maybe you're a godparent, auntie, uncle. Let me know, how do you feel about showing your own children, your family, or how do you feel when you see, you know, other families show their children? Like, how does it make you feel? I would love to know, because at this point, I wake up every day and I change my mind. Who knows? All right, y'all. I want to continue, but I got to wrap this up because I just got a text from my husband. Jeremiah said that the housekeepers are pulling up. Shout out to outsourcing. Amen. We appreciate a good outsource, okay? Because although, of course, we clean our house, we do have bi-weekly housekeepers that come to do the real deep cleaning. They got work to do, so I need to get out their way. But the last question I'm going to answer, this person asks about media kit analytics. How do I come up with all that? Listen, if you are someone who wants to pitch yourself to brands, or brands are starting to reach out and they're asking you for analytics, you definitely need a media kit. I would go on Canva. In my opinion, you should just go ahead and pay. I think it's like $15 for like the pro Canva. It unlocks a bunch more templates and just a better use of the app, in my opinion. But there's nothing wrong with the free version. They have plenty of templates on there as well. But I would type in like social media kit, or you can just go on Google if you don't have Canva. Like, just Google one and do like a user-friendly template where you can just plug in your information. And I'm gonna tell you right now, the most common information that brands will ask you are about your following demographics. Like, that's the age range, the city and locations. For example, if a brand is doing an activation and it's in LA, they might want to know, do I have a lot of followers that are in California, or maybe New York? You know, I used to live there. My whole family's from there. My husband's from there. So they may see, oh, she has a big following in New York. We want to work with her for a campaign and collab for that. Like, sometimes brands do things based off your demographic, like location of your followers. And then another one is the age range. That is very, very important, because most campaigns are going to be dedicated to a certain type of demographic. I am a millennial, so most of my campaigns are not going to be focused on, you know, promoting to Gen Z. But I know a lot of the Gen Z content creator girlies, and their demographic will look different from mine. And so that means they're going to get different campaigns from me. So just remember that your media kit needs to have your demographics of your audience, location, age range, and also your most recent insights and analytics from your social media. And that's something that's going to change. I would update that like every 30 days. And usually when brands reach out, they do ask like, what were your story link clicks for the last 30 days? What is your reach and engagement, your impressions? You can look at all that information in your Instagram app or TikTok, or on YouTube if you're trying to get a YouTube Shorts deal or a regular, you know, dedicated video deal. You can go into your insights and pull that. I think for YouTube and TikTok, they do like the last 28 days. I know Instagram does last 30 days, but long story short, you need to show brands how people are engaging with your comments. They're gonna wanna see your link clicks, your story views, the number of shares that you got, your reels views. They pay attention to all of that. So go ahead and add that to your kit. And that's why I said you should use Canva, because this is information that's gonna be changing. Your demographics usually don't change much. Like, I can't remember the last time my age demographics for my followers change. It's been pretty consistent over the past 3 years. Maybe if you relocate and you move, the demographic will change for like the top cities, but for the most part that stuff won't really change as much. But your analytics, like your insights, that's gonna change, child, every 7 days. But you don't have to do that every 7 days. You need to just change it every 30 days, or whenever you're getting ready to pitch to a brand or you're responding to a brand, make sure you go back into the template and change that and update it to the last 2 weeks. Sometimes they'll ask you like, oh, what was the last 14 days of your link clicks, your story shares, etc. But either way, you have to show that your content is performing and that it's gonna reach the audience that they wanted to reach, okay? Because these brands are not just gonna be paying you off the strength that they like your content and it's cute. No, they need to make sure they're getting a return on their investment. So that's why it's important to have a media kit so that you can show these analytics. All right, y'all. So once again, I really appreciate you for watching this video. I am here to help, okay? I wanna elevate your confidence, not just in style and self-care, but you as an entrepreneur, you as a future boss lady or a boss man. You know, I wanna make sure that you are on the path to greatness and success. So make sure that you're subscribed. Don't miss a video. I drop every single Sunday. Let me know in the comments, do you wanna see me drop on like a Wednesday or a Thursday in addition to Sunday? Or do you feel like it doesn't matter during the week because you'll be busy, so you'll catch it when you catch it? Like, does that second video drop really matter? Do I need a dedicated day? I'm kind of struggling with that. Let me know what you think in the comments. The every Sunday morning vlog at 8 a.m., that's standard. It's always gonna drop. But I want to start doing a bi-weekly drop like in the middle. So let me know. Doesn't matter. Should I have like a every Wednesday, every Thursday thing, or just like whenever I feel like it? Let me know. Like, how do you watch videos? Do you just catch up on vlogs when you catch up with them? Just let me know in the comments. But thank you so much for being here. Once again, I'm here to help. And don't forget, when it comes to the fashions, I know we talked all about content today, but when it comes to the fashions, I'll be posting all of my looks over on LTK. Here's my QR code. Make sure you follow me there. That is where I post all of my looks, y'all. I get so many questions about my outfits. Everywhere I shop, every time I put something in my cart, I link it to my LTK. I show all of my style content on LTK. That's where you can shop. And then also remember, I'll put the QR code here for my Poshmark. Every time brands send me gifts, child, whether it's clothes or shoes or even makeup and skincare, sometimes I just can't keep it all. Sometimes I'll use stuff just for content and then I'll go and sell it. I put everything on my Poshmark, okay? Everything from my closet, like my personal closet, that is brand new, tag still on, or gently used, it is on my Poshmark right here, QR code. But then all the things that I'm buying and I'm keeping for myself, that is gonna be over here. Now, also, I got this question in a DM not too long ago. People were asking, like, you know, when in your style hauls, you're showing all the stuff that you like, but then you immediately sell it. Again, for clarification, sometimes brands send me things to make content with because they pay me to do it. I'm an ambassador for a couple of different brands. And after that, I can decide, do I want to keep it for myself or do I want to sell it to y'all? So I have that choice whether I want to keep it or sell it. That's number one. Number two, sometimes if you see me post something on my Poshmark, it's not the exact item that I decide to keep. It is a different size of the item. So for example, sometimes a brand can send you, you know, 2 dresses in 2 different sizes because they're not sure of how the fit will be on you. They will ask you, hey, what is your size and would you like to go up or down if it has no stretch? Or this is the material, you know, what do you think your size is? And we'll send you an extra one just in case. So I'll keep one for myself and then I'll sell the other one. So just pay attention when you're looking on my Poshmark. Look at the description because you may think you're buying the exact one that you saw me in the video with, but I may be wearing a size medium and I'm selling the large, or I'm keeping the large for myself but I'm selling the small, I'm selling the medium. Just pay attention to the description. And also remember, on my Poshmark, when you see something from my closet that you want, remember, if you bundle different things, you can get a discount. So it's always easier and better and more on a budget if you add different things, because you can get like free shipping, you can get a discount and free shipping. There's all types of promotions that I'm doing. So again, you can shop my personal closet over on Poshmark, and you can shop all of my looks and things that I link over on LTK. And remember to follow me on Instagram, shaynicole.xo, follow me on TikTok, shaynicolexo, and subscribe to my channel right here. Until next time, my beauties, bye.